This does not feel like Florida, but it is. If you didn't know it, you would not believe. You'd just drive right past, you'd never ever see it. And places like this are exactly why I started exploring Florida. Because hidden in Central Florida, there's a place where the ground just disappears. Yeah. And what's down there doesn't look like Florida at all. Most people think they understand Florida. They picture beaches, palm trees, flatlands stretches out forever. And honestly, that's fair, because most of Florida does kind of look like that. But every once in a while, you find a place that completely breaks that idea. A place that makes you stop and go, wait, am I really here? What is this? So tucked away in Central Florida, not far from small towns and a quiet back road, there's a place called Hidden Waters Preserve. And if you didn't know it was there, you would drive right past it. Nah, you never even think twice. No crowds, no big entrance, no signs screaming for attention. Just a quiet pull-off and a trail that honestly just looks like nothing special, like any other trail at first, you know? Like there's lots of trails, nature trails and walks in Florida. Flat ground, sandy soil, pine trees stretched out every direction. The air is warm, still familiar. You hear insects buzzing, maybe a bird calling somewhere in the distance. And that's it. Nothing about it feels unusual. Nothing hints at what's coming. And then, the ground starts to change. It's subtle at first, almost like your eyes are playing a trick on you. The trail kind of dips slightly. Trees begin to cluster closer and together, and it shifts a little, gets cooler, quieter, heavier, and then suddenly, the earth just drops. Not a hill, not a slope, a drop. A massive, open sinkhole carved straight into the ground, like the land itself just gave way. And standing at the edge of it, you realize something immediately. This is not normal Florida. And almost no one knows it is there. Would you actually go down here, or would you stay at the top? The terrain falls away more than 100 feet, forming this deep hidden basin that you would never know existed unless you were standing right here. The edges are steep, lined with thick vegetation, roots gripping into the exposed earth like they're holding the land together, basically. And down below, you can see it. A completely different world. And this is the part most people never make it to. The trail continues. But now, it's not flat anymore. It winds kind of downward, slowly pulling you into the sinkhole. Step by step, you leave the surface behind. The sunlight starts to fade. Not completely, but enough that everything feels softer, dimmer, more enclosed. The trees change. Up above was open and spaced out. Down here, they grow taller, thicker, closer together. Hardwood trees, ferns, dense layers of green and wrap around you. The temperature drops. Just enough to actually really notice. The humid Florida heat eases off, placed by this cool, shaded stillness. And the deeper you go, the quieter it gets. The outside world kind of just disappears. No cars, no distant noise, just your footsteps and the sound of leaves shifting in the breeze far above. It starts to feel isolated, almost hidden. Like you've stepped into a place you maybe weren't really meant to find, but you're there. And then finally, you reach the bottom. And sitting there, completely unexpected, is a lake. Still, dark, quiet. A body of water called Lake Alfred, tucked away at the base of the massive sinkhole. Surrounded all sides the steep walls, the earth, the forest. The surface of the water barely moves. It reflects the trees above like a mirror, broken only by the occasional ripple. There's no crowd here, no noise, no boats. Just this hidden pocket of nature, completely cut off from everything else. And standing there, it doesn't feel like Florida. It feels older, deeper, like something untouched. What you're looking at wasn't built, it wasn't designed, it wasn't planned. This entire place exists because the ground beneath Florida is hollow. Florida sits on top of layers of limestone, and over thousands of years, water slowly dissolves that rock from underneath, creating caves, voids, empty spaces you'll never see, until one day, the surface collapses. And when it does, it leaves behind something like this. A sinkhole that opens a window into what's been hiding underground the whole time. That's what this is. Not just a trail, not just a park, but the result of the earth literally giving way and revealing something that was maybe always there, just out of sight. Places like Hidden Waters Preserve almost didn't survive. Back in the 1990s, areas like this were at risk of being cleared, developed, or simply ignored. But this one was preserved, protected, left alone. Which is why, today, you can stand at the edge of it, walk down into it, and experience something that feels completely out of place in Florida. And the strange part is, this isn't the only one. There are places all across Florida that don't feel like Florida at all. And the one I'm showing you next is even harder to believe. So, if you want to see that, make sure you're here for the next one. Because if something like this can exist, completely hidden, right off a normal road, how much of Florida is still out there that most people will never find?